be known that I do support law enforcement, and the great majority of officers and deputies at the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office are great people that try to do the best job they can. This is a video based on an upcoming book about an investigation of a serious crime at the Wakulla County Airport. Now, I don't want people to think of me as a guy that spreads hate, dislike, contempt, but look at that pretty face. This gift to GQ, to good looks, strangled a good friend of mine on May 2nd, 2019 at the Wakulla County Airport. Now, these commissioners and county administrator, they're good people. They try to do good work, but sometimes things go sideways. So without further ado, let's dive right in. Oh, if you have seat belts, have them nearby. I'll warn you, this is not for children and probably not for a lot of adults. Without further ado, let's get into it. My name is Bill Catalina. I'm a retired pilot and Vietnam veteran. I've cut a lot of stuff out of the beginning of it, introductory type stuff. It'll all be explained inside. Let's get right to the point. The following is a great example of how ridiculous this entire investigation was run. On May 21st, 2019, or 19 days after the strangulation, this is Hasty talking now in his sheriff's report, his part of it. He says, I was contacted by Mr. Fultz, who advised he had just returned from being out of the country for 3 weeks. Mr. Fultz was calling from the balmy palms of Miami. Now, if you were a law officer and you had a customer who was involved in a strangulation, wouldn't you tell them not to leave the country, not to go anywhere, to stay in touch because we needed to talk to you? Isn't that the proper thing to do, or am I dreaming here? Now, also, if you were the strangulee, wouldn't you think to call the sheriff's office and ask them if it's okay to leave the country for 3 weeks? If you watched part 2, Detective Hasty just mentioned his vacation in passing. He did say in the sheriff's report that he tried to contact Fultz several times. So that's what we're dealing with here. The words ineptitude, biasness, favoritism all come to mind, but stupidity reigns supreme. What is coming up here will prove it to you. When you edit and have to watch a clip or a photo over and over and over, you catch things you don't normally catch. I found another photo anomaly. Here's that story. Yeah, I didn't do these. It's 2 of them, one on top of the other. Whoever did it was too lazy to remove the one on the bottom, which was all photos taken in presence of sheriff's deputies. The one laid on top of that one was now photos taken 1 hour after strangulation. Who did that? That's mighty weird to me. All photos and videos shown in this video, all parts of this video, are mine. These add-ons were not put there by me. I gave these photos to the sheriff's department to be used in their investigation. They wanted no part of them, except to discredit them and put inserts on there that I did not do. I think that's called tampering with evidence. See, I don't do anything like that. You see the arrows coming up to those 2 lines now. It's just one insert and text over another insert and text. Now, the deputy who ushered me into the room, but I went in there for another reason, which I can't reveal right now. But the deputy who ushered me in was not the same guy I talked on the phone. With the original guy, I've been working with him for a month just to come in and take some pictures that I needed that I can't reveal right now. So anyway, I finally get with that guy after going through his captain, who was a nice guy. You know, they're all good guys, at least that's how they are up front. But I finally got through his captain, which okayed it with the original guy to come in and take the photos. When I got there, I first had to make an appointment. I forgot about that part, 5 days in advance with the original guy. But when I got there, I got another guy. As far as I remember, he was not in uniform. He was a big guy. He was okay, but he was standoffish. He didn't shake my hand, say, "How you doing, Mr. Catalina," all that stuff. By the way, I did tell him that those inserts were not mine, the two inserts that I just told you about. And he said he didn't know who did it, he didn't do it, and that was... I tell you what, guys, this whole case has been really strange. If you've been keeping up with parts 1 and 2, you're witnessing a cover-up. But to cover up what? To protect this fool idiot airport manager of an inconsequential tiny little airstrip in North Florida because he's got a few dollars? It doesn't make any sense. Why protect this fool? Yeah, good question. And by the way, that entire process took about 5 weeks to take 5 minutes worth of pictures. And he's been suing the county since May of 2022, this year so far. What's going on? Somebody clue me in, because I can't figure it out. About the trail cameras, the 5 that he had set up on private property not belonging to him, aimed at us at the hangars and the people using the restroom. Florida statute. This is something that Detective Hasty and the detective division did not even think about or thought about and decided not to prosecute it. I think the latter is what was the case. Florida statute 810.145 includes instances for recording in terms of observes. Fultz, your private pilot, volunteer airport manager, should have been arrested by WCSO according to that statute alone. Placing surveillance cameras, especially on private property, without notifying the owner is, according to that statute, subject to a jail term of up to 15 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. What happened? WCSO Detective Branch? Now, could I be wrong about that statute as the way it applies here? Yeah, that's possible, but I doubt it. I think it would all depend on who you ask. A deputy would say, "Oh, hell no, it doesn't apply here in this case." And an attorney would say, "Hell yeah, he's guilty as hell. Make it apply. It'll apply." And ask him about the 2 inserts they put on my photograph. Is that tampering with evidence? Oh, hell no, it's okay as long as we do it. Come on, damn it. What now?
Hey, it's Randall. How you doing? All right. Oh, I'm Detective Casey. You know who I am. Yeah, we talked a couple times. Once, at least. Oh, maybe on the phone. Yeah, come in my office one time with Mr. Bill, and then y'all went to Bill drug me to the state attorney's office. They told me all about that. And
ain't that something? 18 seconds in, and it's already about me. Well, no surprise there.
There was an outcome on that with Chris Lee.
Chris Lee, yeah.
And he said some things I was surprised.
What did he say? He told me the same things he told y'all.
Mr. Hasty, I can tell you one damn thing I sure as hell know he didn't tell you, and that was at the end of our meeting with him about why there is no prosecution against Fultz. It's because of people like you, mainly, but others also, that investigation of yours and others was malfeasance on the part of the Wakulla County Sheriff's Office. Now, would he admit that in court or to you? I'm sure he would not. I called him back a few days later to talk about something else. He denied it. I pressed him on it, and he hung up in my face. But to us, he was an honest guy. To you guys, he's going to roll with the flow. It's common knowledge. So judging by all I've seen and heard here, Hasty, out of you and your interview with Fultz and interrogation of Randy, yeah, the malfeasance, you had a large part to do with it, Hasty.
Basically, the scratches on the back indicates that was, he didn't have the rights to open the door and pull me out.
So that's what we're here to talk about, because I interviewed Mr. Fultz, okay? Brought him in here, same thing, kind of how we're going to do. I did his a little different, because...
Now what Hasty's saying here, and what I know for a fact, is that Randy here is getting an interrogation. When you're interrogated, you are the guilty party. Fultz had an interview without being sworn in and without getting the perjury warning. In other words, like I said earlier in part 2, he had carte blanche to lie his ass off 20 ways to Sunday. Now, if Randy lies, he goes to jail. Fultz, if he lies, nothing happens to him. It's all because of the swearing in that Randy got and Fultz did not. In fact, Mr. Hasty, this is an open invitation for you to get my ass in there, and I will run your ass ragged. We'll see who's full of shit and who's not. How about that, Hasty? You want to take me up on it?
You're a judge. You're a judge.
We were kind of looking at him as a suspect, okay, so we did his a little different, but I read him his rights, we did certain things, and I'm reading you your rights, all right, because obviously you're not being arrested or anything.
This is funny. You heard that? He said, I read him his rights. He's talking about Fultz. Now, I covered that really well in part 2 at the beginning. You need to watch it. It's right at the beginning. And no, he did not read Fultz his rights, or he did not swear him in. He did not give him the perjury warning against lying. So just watch it. I may even put it in here at the end just to make damn sure you watch it.
But I ain't gonna swear you in, okay? So raise your right hand.
All right.
You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth?
Do.
Okay. Now, being said that, if you lie while we're talking, that's perjury, okay?
Right.
A liar threatening Randy with lying? Not to worry, this is going to get a lot more funny and stupid. People, I'm sorry I interrupt all the time, but I can't sit here and say nothing. Randy was strangled. Fultz lied his ass off. I can't tell you how I can prove it right now, but I will. Just have confidence. I will prove the son of a bitch lied his ass off. Here's one for you, Hasty. Where's the crescent wrench? When Fultz went to the gate to talk to the deputies, why didn't he tell them about the crescent wrench? Telling those 2 detectives to get that crescent wrench when they came to talk to us would have cemented his case. Did you think to ask him that, Hasty? Did you think to look at his arm to where he's had a bruise the size of Rhode Island, maybe a broken bone? Nobody ever mentioned that crescent wrench again. It was never mentioned by you, the hospital report, the urgent care report, by Fultz to his doctor. Not in the doctor's report, I think I said that, but I just wanted to make sure you got it. Yeah, Fultz was standing up in your office imitating it over his head, held by Randy, about to come down on Fultz's head, and for some reason it just vanishes. Yeah, boy, this was a great investigation by the WCSO and Detective Ross Hasty. Great going there, Hasty.
I'm getting up. Randy's coming around with a crescent wrench, like this.
Excuse me, I had to shorten it to make it fit in the screen. Fultz, you 2 are clowns. You should be in the circus. Both of you are putting on a show. It's nothing more than theatrics, like I said in part 2.
Over his head. I'm telling you, in his eyes, he was trying to kill me. He tried to kill me by accelerating. If it would have been Leo there, he'd be dead right now. They'd have pulled a gun and shot his butt dead.
Now, what would have happened had Randy said that? He would have been thrown in jail for threatening somebody. It wouldn't have been a from Hasty. That's what Fultz got for that. From Hasty. Listen to what Randy gets, folks. You won't believe it.
You understand that? Okay. But you're not being arrested. You understand that? Okay. But you're not being arrested. You understand that? Okay. But you're not being arrested.
I think this investigation actually goes beyond stupidity. It's on the cusp of insanity. I truly believe that. To even mention arrest either way to Randy is an insult to public decency. It should be a crime.
You understand that? Okay. But you're not being arrested. You understand that? Okay. But you're not being arrested.
Anybody getting nervous yet? I say again, is anybody getting nervous yet?
I'm trying to clarify this, because obviously none of us were there, like me and you talked about it first time.
He knew that.
He came in, well, you know, he He wasn't like Bill. He didn't come in here with a whole bunch of old pictures or anything.
Okay, here we go. He's jumping on me again already. What's wrong, Hasty? You don't like my pretty pictures? They show you a whole lot of what you don't want to see? That's what I figured. What about the inserts, Hasty? Who did that? I got 2 of them on one of my pretty pictures that I didn't do. I don't do slop work like that and lay one on top of another and leave 2 lines showing. What did y'all do that for? To make yourself look nice, look investigative? But he's talking about my old pictures. Detective Hasty said that I was attempting to reconstruct a crime scene with old pictures. Well, it doesn't matter if the pictures were old or not, because everything here is the same then as they are now. I'm not going to waste your time and mine on this bullshit. It's a lot of it is covered in parts 1 and 2. I actually took those pictures about 2016, but the contents are the same. So what's the point, Hasty? I'll tell you exactly what the point is. Hasty wanted to discredit everything about me, pictures, videos, everything. Hasty considered me a clear and present danger to his so-called bullshit investigation. So to me, in my common sense thinking, I would say it's somebody above him told him to do, to cover it like he did, to treat Randy like the criminal and interrogate him and Fultz as the innocent guy in the investigation. Now here's one more thing before I quit. Here's my pictures. He didn't like these either. And by the way, the photos were never mentioned in this photo, was never shown to Fultz in his interview by Hasty. Randy was not shown this photo. Now all of these 3 photos here I've shown Hasty, and Hasty totally downplays everything. That was my little dog. But you can clearly see the strangulation marks. You can't see more over here because of the light coming in from outside. And this is bruising on the chest, and this here, I don't know if you can read it, but it said, "Where's the proof?" What I was referring to there was a meeting that Randy and I had with a local lawyer. Randy said that without the video we don't have any proof, and the lawyer replied quickly, looking at my picture. He said, "What do you think this is?" View under bright fluorescent lighting. This is outdoor lighting. Graphics by Bill Catalina. Attempted murder by Steve Fultz. The fluorescent lighting actually shows it up more than it is here. The bruising is from struggling. Randy didn't exactly, fall over and say, "Okay, you can strangle me all you want now." No, he struggled. He tried to save his life. Oh, man. All right, so that's it. I'm sorry it took so long. Notice how Hasty rejects and denigrates everything I have to offer. I'm actually trying to help the guy understand the whole situation, but he doesn't want to accept it. And I tell you what, I don't think this is really all Hasty. Somebody above him has put him up to this.
Yeah, well, Bill's trying to point of view.
Yeah, I understand. Which I know in the office when me and you talked the last time when I asked Bill to leave, you kind of said, Bill has his own agenda on this.
He wants me to leave a phone so you can hear our conversation, but nah, Bill.
Where is he at right now?
He's at his house.
You have your phone on you?
Yeah, I got my phone.
Put it on the table. You realize when we're speaking in this room, you're not allowed to record me, okay? You understand that?
Who, me? Record Hasty with the marvelous job he's doing here in prosecuting this case? Not in a million years, my friends. Florida law 934.03. It's a 3rd-degree felony, 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine. Would I expose myself to something like that with the excellent job Hasty's doing? Of course not. And thank you, Randy, for exposing me to that term in jail. I tell you what, if this happens again, I'm getting on Fultz's side. The hell with you, Randy. But he had to open his mouth. Watch out, because he's going to open it some more. This is going to be a fun one here, folks, and I'll try not to cuss. But I might cuss anyway, even though I might not have any reason to, just to piss off Hasty, because I know he'll see it sooner or later.
Fair is fair.
So he asked you to come in here and record our conversation?
You actually had to ask that, Hasty? I'm as pure as the driven snow, Hasty, and I would never think of doing a thing like that. With you at the controls, I know you got things well in hand, and I got nothing to worry about, man. I trust you explicitly.
Basically, he wants to know what's going on.
Okay. In your own words, why has he thrown himself into...
Hasty, yes, I did want to record you because I wanted to know what your stupid ass was doing, and having found out that you weren't doing shit from Randy, I dropped any pretense of recording. Hasty, you still don't understand what's going on at the airport. This son of a bitch slapped a trespass on me when I hadn't seen him for 5 months straight or heard from him. Our brain trusts have put an idiot, a maniac in charge out there. He has run that frickin' airport into the ground. It basically does not exist anymore, except for an airplane or two about once a month.
We've been fighting Steve Foltz for a couple of years.
Okay, and he's trying
And
to...
when I had that surgery, I couldn't go to Bill's court.
Okay.
And Bill was feeling sorry and backed off.
Oh boy, I hope this doesn't turn into a 2-hour ordeal. Nobody's gonna watch it. No, Randy, I did not back off. It's you talking about something you don't know what you're talking about. You know, kind of like Hasty. But I didn't back off. What happened was these two idiots had me on a bogus trespass for a damn airport they said was 4 miles north of the damn airport, 1505 Coastal Highway. I didn't realize that at the time. I should have looked at that damn trespass closer. 1505 is the address for the Wakulla County Welcome Center. As far as I know, there was never an airport there, and there ain't one now. And Wakulla County Sheriff's Office considered it an FAA matter, and they dropped it. Violated son of a bitch 8 to 10 times. I done forgot, I lost count. So I forgot who talked to who, but David Edwards agreed to drop the trespass if I agreed to drop my injunction. There was no backing off by me, Randy. I don't back off from nothing, including this stupid detective you got sitting in front of you.
I said, Bill, you screwed up. You had him by the horns and you shouldn't have rode him.
Mm-hmm. And now this incident, Bill's looking at it as if he, quote unquote, his golden ticket, he can jump on it and kind of get...
Well, he wants to keep it going on, just to show that this wasn't an instantaneous problem. It was no premeditated. It was figured out.
I fully admit, people, I am totally lost. I have no idea what the hell entertaining his bottom, or at least I think he said that. Entertaining his bottom. And premeditated. Premeditated what? That I strangled you, that I strangled Fultz, that I strangled a mule walking down the highway last week. What? I am totally, what the hell are y'all talking about? This is so damn stupid, I'm not even gonna comment on it. I'm just gonna skip it and let the cards lie where they may, between my bottom and oh, shit. But yeah, I want to keep it going on because nobody's doing anything. Hasty, you haven't done shit, man, but run your mouth, sit on your ass. Fultz instigated the whole damn thing. I just had to delete a bunch of stuff, man. I unloaded. Gee, but anyway, let me get back to the point. All right, Hasty, this is for you. All right, think about this now. Would any common sense thinking human think that Randy would be stupid enough to instigate a confrontation with this idiot Fultz at this late hour? We had all we could stand of Fultz's provoking confrontations. Hasty, we know you're in the bag for Fultz, but all you gotta do is think a little bit deeper and you'll discover things like common sense, which I know you don't have any. Hasty, we got New Year's coming up. You know, it's a few days after Christmas. Now's a good time to make a resolution to get common sense. It's not hard to do. It takes for some people, it don't even take thinking. You just know it.
It was no premeditated. It was figured out.
Premeditated? What? Randy, I don't even know what the hell you're talking about. I thought I only had to worry about Hasty. Now I gotta worry about my own friend that I'm trying to help. What the hell are y'all talking about now? Can this get any more stupid? Of course it can. Stand by.
Okay. Well, let's talk about that day, okay? Because Mr. Foltz came in here and he's like,
He could have bent the rules in his favor.
well, you know, and like I told you from the very beginning, you know, none of us were there that day.
Right.
It was only you two, and we're trying to figure out, obviously, you know, nobody's going to walk in here and just totally make themselves look bad. We know that.
Randy, did you graduate 3rd grade? When a detective asks you something like that, don't agree with him. What you do is you stand up, you get up on top of his worthless desk in his worthless echo chamber of a vibrating, no acoustic interrogation room with a damn camera placed on the far side of the moon and state to him emphatically that I don't know who you're talking about, Hasty, but I'm telling you the truth. You got to be talking about Fultz, the guy you fell in love with. That's what you do. You don't shake your head in the affirmative and say, yeah, I'm possibly lying my ass off. Good God, man.
Our job is to take your part, his part, and somewhere in the middle is really what happened.
Right.
And we understand that. I know there's an ongoing issue with, you know, I guess Steve's buying up the place.
Hasty, Fultz is not an issue. He's a problem. I know some Mexicans down in South Mexico that will teach you the difference between an issue and a problem. Here's another one for you, Hasty. I was out there by myself one day at the airport. A nice lady came by and she said, do you mind if I fly my kite, sir? I said, of course, that's what this little airport is for, things like that. Go ahead. I had to leave. I came back later, lady was gone. I can bet you $100 that stupid son of a bitch ran her off.
He's backing out. That's what I hear through wall.
Okay. I think that was kind of the main issue is, and that
Well,
is
it's so convenient. I had 10 years worth of junk in that hangar.
Yeah.
I had to move it all and throw stuff away.
But and that's one thing is, why was he asking y'all to leave?
Hasty, this is so ridiculous. Hasty still hasn't caught on. No, Hasty, he wasn't asking us to leave. We loved him. We wanted to stay with him forever, you know, move in with him, share his home. We loved him so much. Hell yes, we were getting the hell out, and so was everybody else.
Or was that something y'all decided
I
to do?
understand by the law. He's got to tell us, and we got 15 days to get out.
Yes.
Well, 10 years worth of junk in there.
What at this point has he asked y'all to leave?
No.
Y'all were just kind of doing it on your own, preparing for it.
And everybody else left because they don't like him.
Randy put it nicely. He said, we didn't like Fultz. No, the word, Randy, is we hated the son of a bitch's guts. You see, all these people that think might be on the bad side, they let me go to their house and I will bring my camera and I will stick it in their face every time they walk out the door, every time they get in and out of their car, when they go in and out. Let me try that on them. Each commissioner for 1 week. I'll try it. I won't give you 5 weeks like I got. Hell no. But I'm not that much of an asshole. But I'll give you 1 week until you want to blow my brains out. How's that?
I understand that, you know, and how you
All tar pine. We couldn't even go to the meetings, so we couldn't represent ourselves.
Randy's talking about the Tarpine HOA that has a meeting about once a month. It talks about a bunch of horse shit. I lived there for 10 years. I never went to one, and usually what happens, that big, fat, 311-pound, loudmouth bullshitter gets in front and he runs the show. A good friend of mine got up one day in the middle of his running his mouth and hauled ass. He said Fultz had steam coming out of both of his ears and gave him a look like, how dare you leave in the middle of my important speech?
So this was the Tarpine community doing this?
Yeah, we were invited to say our little piece.
Okay.
And let's go back to basic one. He's got a twin engine. I walked up to him.
Mm-hmm.
You can't legally fly this thing in and out of it. I'd flown before. I got 1,000 hours of
I understand. Yes, sir.
I says, you got a soft grass,
Mm-hmm.
that all dictates, and it's 95 degrees out there, that's bringing you up to 2,700 feet. The stall speeds, all the data we got on that is not going to show. And there's a bull, the guy down the end, flew those things for 10, 15,000 hours. He'll tell you, this is too short of an airport for that. And 10 years before that, I told that guy, hey, that thing's too hot. He went through the south gate and killed himself.
Yeah.
And you can't tell anybody anything. Well, you know what you're talking about. Okay.
Well, you know how that is. You get in somebody else's business and...
Listen to Hasty taking up for Fultz. See, he's cutting off Randy where he let Fultz just keep on rattling on about nothing. But I'll give it to Randy. He knows his airplanes. He knows their limitations and everything. The Baron is a tight little twin-engine aircraft. You know, it's a hot little aircraft. You can fly it out of there, yeah, but what happens if you lose an engine on takeoff and there's a school bus loaded with 30 kids on the south end at Highway 98 and you wipe out a school bus? Then it gets to be a problem, huh, Hasty?
Yeah,
Well, like I told him, I couldn't argue it. You're allowed.
of course.
And you're going to end up out there possibly hitting a truck going across 98, or you're going to be in the drink.
You're going to be over there in the
Now,
water.
you get above 400 feet, you're safe and sound.
Yeah.
But if he's not up to speed,
Hasty, Fultz is a private pilot, okay? I know you don't know this stuff, but a private pilot's license is a learner's permit. It's like you got when you were maybe 15 or 16 years old and you got your learner's permit to drive a car. You didn't know shit from beans, okay? And we didn't either, Hasty, until we got decades of experience. He's never flown into JFK, O'Hare, Midway, San Diego, Lindbergh, none of those places. And, you know, he's a student pilot is what he is, all right? He doesn't know what to do in severe icing. Snow thunderstorms, I'm sure he's never heard of them.
and training, I don't know what kind of training. And I guarantee you, if it cut me off course, I'd be in the drink.
I understand.
Now, you're in the Sims, you'll know it's going to happen.
Yes, sir.
And you,
Well, let's talk about.
but that's what pissed him off.
I understand. Well, he told me, you know, since y'all have started moving out, I guess y'all quit using the main gate and you were kind of cutting through.
Yeah.
Hasty, we've been doing it for years. We cut through this lady named Beverly's house on the south end. She gave us permission. It goes up into her driveway and back onto the taxiway like we've been doing for decades. It's Fultz's excuse to come harass the hell out of Randy on his last day of being on the property in what was his hangar until that stupid son of a bitch came around.
No, he does not have any control over that airport.
I understand that. I'm just
Okay.
okay.
What gate's he talking about?
I guess the main gate.
I don't go through the main gate.
I understand.
That's why I went down along the runway.
That's what he was saying. I guess they were trying to stop you from driving down the runway.
Oh, Lord, give me patience. How many times have I got to mention this? It's not the runway, Randy. It's the taxiway. The dumbass Fultz thinks the whole airport is a runway. It is not. It is mentioned. Taxiways are mentioned in the Wakulla County rules and regulations at least 10 times, and I didn't look long to find those 10 times. It's a taxiway. And you, with the meeting with David Edwards, gave us permission to start using the taxiway to drive on like you have been for 38 freaking years. People have been born, married, had kids, and died in 38 years. Does anybody understand what the hell I'm saying? Randy had been there for about 25 years before Fultz showed the hell up, started running the place, and running it into the ground. And who do we owe this gift of Fultz to? The commissioners and the county administrator. Now keep in mind throughout this, people, this son of a bitch almost killed this man in the blue shirt sitting across the table from a half-assed detective. That's how sorry this situation is. A reminder, he is still ongoing suing the county since May of this year, 2022. Guess what? He's still the airport manager. When you figure that out, let me know. Because try as I might, after 2 years of studying this entire case and doing everything, including what I'm doing now, and writing a book, it makes no sense whatsoever why our county officials would tolerate this stupid oath. And this is a tremendous liability to the citizens and taxpayers of Wakulla County.
I had a rental cop when my step-kid got out from prison. I had a rental cop came over and gave me a, you can't trespass.
Okay.
But somebody in Tarpine says, you need to go to the courthouse and see if it is there. And it wasn't there. So it's been agitating over the last.
I understand. So the day of this incident, I guess you were driving down the runway.
If I hear that fucking word runway one more time, I'm gonna freaking kill somebody.
He
tried to run.
He tried to take a picture of you, I guess.
Oh, he was taking a bunch of them.
Yep. He's saying you then drove around
to avoid him.
Yep. And then he walked back around because he said he was trying to get to prove you weren't the one driving the vehicle, which I understand that because he's saying to prove you were the one driving, he needed a picture of you, which is true. We just can't say you're driving your truck. You got to have proof you're the one driving.
Hasty, I can forgive you here because you don't really know, but Randy has been owning that piece of crap truck since Moses parted the waters of the Red Sea. I believe it was the Red Sea, I'm not sure, but you can look it up on Google, Damn. Fultz knew damn well who was driving that truck, and he was just using that as an excuse to approach Randy on private property where he had no business being there. Hasty, that was his excuse, his whole reason. Randy was leaving on his last load. He was getting the hell out of that stupid son of a bitch's life. But no, Fultz was not going to let that happen. He had a power play, a final power play and control to play on Randy. Fultz, being the stupid shit he is, was going to show Randy one final time who was boss. Dr. Dean Hawley, in his NAPSA conference of 2012, said that strangulation was all about control. It is 5 times more likely to result in death from strangulation.
He said, so I tried to get a picture of him behind the wheel.
Well, he opened the door and drugged me out. That's good enough.
I understand.
Hasty, if you didn't know, and you probably don't know because you ain't too smart, opening the door of Randy's truck without his permission is a crime in itself.
He's saying when you were coming, around, and then he, say it's like this.
Yeah.
You were coming around. I guess your hanger was at this end. His was somewhere over here.
He's got one there with a tractor.
I see you drew your own little map there, Hasty, but now would be a great time to use one of my photos that you thought so little of you wouldn't even look at or use when you talk to Fultz.
And his car was over this.
Yep. And he said walk around this end.
Right.
You were coming this way. This is where, we need to figure out what happened. He's saying when he was trying to get a picture of you or a video, he said he had his phone up, you gunned the truck at him.
Hasty, look, I know you got to ask the question, but think about it. Randy's truck, 338,000 miles, 4 cylinders, pulling a heavy trailer, stuff still on it. Fultz said that he accelerated from 7 to 10 feet away. How fast do you think this truck is going to get in 7 to 10 feet away? And what the hell is that stupid oaf, fat-ass oaf standing in front of it in the first place? That's Fultz's lie to you, Hasty, as a reason for him to attack. That's all it is, a continuation of lies. Let's just say the lying son of a bitch is telling the truth and Randy lied. How about another thing? Randy gets out of the truck. He's got this big crescent wrench. All right, here's a good one for you. Where's the crescent wrench? I've already covered that. I ain't going to go into it now. And if you're stupid enough to believe Randy hit him with a crescent wrench, then go right ahead. There ain't nothing I can say or do.
He then tried to jump out of the way.
Hasty, how far away is that door behind you? I would say, having seen you go in and out of it a few times, it's about 8 feet, 6 to 8 feet. Fultz said he accelerated from 7 to 10 feet. How fast do you think Randy's truck would accelerate? And if you, Hasty, were standing in front of a moving truck, wouldn't you think it wise to get the hell out of the way? And why was he standing there in the first place? It's a lie, Hasty, an out-and-out lie.
His camera.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He was trying to take a picture. He wasn't filming. If it was filming, we would know this. Or if we had this alleged video, Bill saying he has, but nobody has seen it. Have you seen it to this point? Bill's video?
No, I think he's bullshit.
You think he is?
He won't show me either.
Based on what Randy has said so far, screwed up so far, can you understand now why I have not shown it to him yet? Refer back to what I alluded to earlier.
There was a camera down the gate. I remember seeing it,
But you don't know if it was working.
I don't know. It was there when Bill took his airplane out, he took it over the falls in Tarpine.
Okay.
So then he takes all the cameras over there.
That's right, Randy. Give him all the details. What Hasty is trying to do is to cover his ass for Fultz. Cover Fultz's ass to make sure there's no liability from me and my camera that I had at the ditch.
Commandante keeps going back. Oh, that's the, we call him Commandante.
Understand.
Goes up and down the road. You know, it's trying to start trouble again.
I understand.
So Bill didn't want his wings slit.
Well, he's saying when he was trying to get a picture of you, you gunned the truck out of him. He had to jump out of the way.
Good point, Hasty, but I got an answer to it. What was the stupid son of a bitch doing standing in front of it anyway, which he was not? I can't say what I sure as hell want to say right now because it's evidence we're going to use against the Wakulla County apparatus. Apparatchik, I think the Russians call it.
Either he hurt his leg falling or you clipped his leg.
He can't because he beat it on the hood, come charging around the side of my car, and opened the door and pulled me out.
Okay.
Now, I kicked the shit out of it, so he should have some broken ribs.
Okay, so that's where it gets fuzzy. You're saying he pulled you out. He's saying he jumped on the ground and when he was getting
No,
out,
he
you were
didn't
coming
get
at
that
him.
ground at all. He's lying.
Okay.
Because if he is able to get up, bang on my damn hood like that, and he ain't gonna hurt that piece of shit I got.
Now that's something I'll agree with 100%. He's got a piece of shit truck, like I said earlier.
So that I'm always watching for something unusual
To mess up.
mess up, but he never sabotaged anything. I thought it was non-violent.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I had 2 knives in that car. There's one up underneath it.
So until this incident, you personally have never had really any physical altercations or anything?
We're on
you.
YouTube arguing.
That's about it. Y'all got an argument?
Yeah, and we're on YouTube.
Okay.
So you want to see that? You see it. He's nuts.
Yes, sir. So that's what we're here to figure out now. If either A, you did accidentally knock him on the ground,
I did not knock
or
him on
that
the
didn't
ground.
happen. Because his leg, when he left that day with you, you know, he called the sheriff's office. They
Right, and there's a reason for I let him call.
Okay. Well, the moment he left, when all that settled down, he left. He went to our urgent care because of his leg. Which we got the medical records are saying that he did go there, and they told him, "Hey, you need to go to Leon because we're not equipped to do this.
Right.
Your leg is swelling with fluids. You need to go get your leg drained."
Remember, he dropped himself on me.
Good on you, Randy. You're finally getting in the game here. You could have used a little more emphasis and detail, but I understand. I mean, I've got time to sit here and think about everything, and you don't. But he slammed his fat 310.8 pounds, I'd call it 311, okay, on top of you, off balance, and you weren't exactly sitting there waiting for his hands to go around your neck, were you? You were fighting him off. Remember, with your heart stents and your bypass in place, he could have killed you just by the impact of his fat ass landing on your stomach and chest at the same time. He could have ruptured something in there. Now listen to Hasty as he tries to discredit Randy like he tried to discredit me. Did he do this with Fultz? Well, if you consider and yeah, he did. Now, one thing I need to mention here, Randy is going on with this conversation with information we did not have at the time. And I'm glad he didn't, because he probably would have screwed that up.
Which is possible. That's what we're here to figure out. That's why none of us were there.
None of you were there, and you're still not there, Hasty. The two deputies that were out there didn't do shit. All they said was he said, no witnesses, case closed. Great job, over in 5 seconds. And where is the crescent wrench, Hasty? Where in the fuck is the crescent wrench? Hey, 3 out of 4 ain't bad.
And so when he
If
left,
I hit him, I would hurt him.
I understand, when he left urgent care, he was headed to, the urgent care in Crawfordville. When he was leaving, he seen EMS. He flagged them down at Bailey. They looked at him, and they took a picture of his leg because it was swollen, which we got these pictures. They said, man,
Which knee? Just curious.
his right leg.
Hasty, have you checked out the doctor's report yet at Capital Regional? There's no mention of a crescent wrench, of a hit on the arm, of a broken bone, a bruise the size of Rhode Island. No mention of any pain whatsoever on the arm, the upper extremities. Did you bother to read it, Hasty? If you tell me you didn't read it, I'm gonna knock you over the head again with that damn invisible crescent wrench.
So he said, which I talked to the EMS guy, he said, yeah, I took the picture of his leg and told him to go straight to Leon. Which he did. He went to Capital Regional.
Yeah, Fultz likes to travel. After a big fight, he drove himself up to Crawfordville, had a photo op with an EMT named Mike Register. He went to urgent care, no telling how long he had to wait in line. He went someplace else, I forgot. Then he drove himself to Capital Regional. Yeah, he made a day of it, all while in deep pain, man, deep pain. He talked to the sheriff's deputies at the gate for about 25 to 30 minutes. Then another 5 minutes they spent with us, and then another 20 minutes talking to him again at the gate, all while standing up, and then had to drive himself all the way home, all while in deep pain. Poor baby Huey.
Which we got all that paperwork. Their orthopedic specialist comes in and said, hey, we need to cut your leg and drain it. It's filling full of fluids.
Now remember, I can't fault Tasty here. All he's doing is explaining it as Fultz lied to him. And what I need to show you, I cannot show you right now because it's part of evidence. It'll be shown in due course, I'm sure. And believe me, I'd love to show it to you right now.
He's like, well, I'm getting ready to leave and go out of town, which he did. And the whole time he was out of town, he took pictures of his leg, and we could see from the day of the incident until when he came in here, it was still swollen and bruised. So there is something that happened to his leg, regardless if when y'all went to the ground he heard it.
He could.
Which is very possible.
But I didn't hear him. I didn't see him fall back. I didn't hear him.
So that's just because he's saying, now this is solely from me talking to him, because I told him what you were saying too, and he said the same thing. No, that's bullshit. But like I told him, we weren't there as well. We can only take your story, his story, and somewhere in the middle of that is really what happened.
As anyone can tell with half a brain, Hasty is busily dismissing everything that Randy says. You've got a lot of circumstantial evidence, Hasty. You've got the marks on his back where he was drug out of his truck. He turned hard to his left to avoid his entire back getting scraped to pieces. And then finally, when Fultz jumped 311 pounds of lard ass on top of him, you've got impressions of gravel and pebble imprints on his back. It's easy to see. And where's that fucking crescent wrench, asshole? Where is it? Why didn't you ask Fultz where it was? Did you even think about it? Or did you even give a shit? Obviously no on both counts.
Well, the truth would be if he gets that pictures of it, me driving the car, right there to prove everything.
Well, he's got one picture of you driving by him sideways.
Right.
But I
He's
guess...
got multiple pictures because that flash kept on coming.
But
So he's got more than one.
well, he probably gave us the one that shows your truck, because if you're driving, these cameras, it's going to be, it's going to be blurry as hell.
Yeah.
But he didn't get any of you coming up, you in the truck driving.
Some of this stuff I can't even comment on because I can't understand them. Why don't they go up to South Monroe in front of the state capitol in front of all the traffic? We'd probably be able to hear them a lot clearer.
All I can say, I would heard it. I didn't hear it. He did not hit the ground.
Okay.
And he come beating on the hood. and then come charging around. I go, what the hell is this about?
And then he pulled you out of the vehicle?
Oh, yeah, and Lee said, that right there, with those scratches. He said, nothing on the neck.
Randy, do you realize what you just said? That you had nothing on your neck? Maybe you took it out of context and you meant that state investigator Chris Lee said that the best evidence was on your back. Well, that's part of your evidence, not all of it. You've got strangulation marks. It's capillaries burst. They bleed under the skin and show red on the exterior of your skin, of your neck, from full strangling your ass.
The investigator stated, Chris Lee, he said the same thing, that, you know, if anything, it's a battery.
Oh, I get you, Hasty. You and Chris Lee thinks it only counts as a battery. I got an experiment. I want you and Chris Lee to get on your backs on the floor. I will strangle both of you to unconsciousness, and then you tell me what it is, okay? That's if you wake up from being strangled, you know, you're not dead, you know, little old things like that. You remember old Dean Hawley, that old doctor, an expert on strangulation? He said that strangulation for control is 5 times more likely to result in death. But that's a chance you gotta take, you and old Chris. But don't listen to old Dean. He don't know what the hell he's talking about. You two just get down on the floor and I'll strangle the shit out of you. It's no problem, man, according to what y'all say.
I couldn't do anything. He weighs 240 pounds.
The pig weighs 311 pounds, and after looking at his picture on the Wakulla Sun a couple of weeks ago with his fat gut hanging out, I'm sure he's approaching 400 right now.
So that's where we're at now. We're trying to figure out exactly what happened. Obviously, there's no video of it, which we know.
And he knew that.
He don't have one, and I guess this one Bill kind of made up.
Yeah, Bill's bullshitting.
Good job, Randy. I'm bullshitting. Does it sound like I'm bullshitting? I've been studying this shit for 3 years and intensely for the last 3 months. I am not bullshitting.
And, you know, like me and you talked about in my office that day, you know, and you agree Bill has his own agenda with this.
He thinks different. We all think different.
Apparently he went to the county commissioners and told them that we were all full of shit. And
Well, that's Bill.
I understand.
He's got an opinion.
Everybody does. We all have one.
Y'all need to refer to my earlier. It's way back there toward the front. As far as the commissioners and the county administrator, they haven't seen these videos yet, but they're fixing to. And I got a bunch of other stuff I could tell you, Hasty, but I ain't right now. Great job, Randy. Thanks for backing me up. Great, great, great job. And you don't have any marks on your neck. Got it.
And
Sometimes we get out of line, somebody has to pull us and put us back in.
we're all grown, and, you know, there's consequences with everything, which we all know that.
It's the back of life.
You have any questions for me at all?
No.
And I know I've talked to you. This is probably, I know I've talked to you on the phone a few times. This is my second time face to face. And, you know, you were in agreement with me last time. Without there being this video, you know, we have your word, his word. It's
But now, Walt was telling me, he coming up there to my hangar, that's trespassing. He didn't own that property yet.
No,
Now, 3 hangars over, he has a trucker in it. He killed me. He could throw me in that lake. Took my car and run around the hangar, and nobody would know where Randy Dick was for a couple weeks.
yeah, which, you know, he could have done
That's
that.
why I was thinking he was coming back.
I understand.
I'll cool it, see if he comes back. And then next thing I see a bunch of deputies. Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, as far as the trespassing, I don't know.
I don't care.
Did he go inside in your hangar?
No.
Okay, well then, you know, outside of them doors.
You idiots, both of you, are missing everything. I've never said Fultz was trespassing. It's 2 things. He used your driving down his runway, which is actually a taxiway, as an excuse to go after you. We were moving out. You were on your last load. I'd already gone. He came up there with that excuse on private property where he had no authority. Read the Wakulla Airport rules and regulations. He can come up there. He has a hangar there, but his authority vanishes when he crosses onto Walt's property. Good God, what the hell have I got to do? You know, get Fultz to testify for you. God damn it. According to the rules, he can come up there to inspect the hangar, but that's it. He can't enforce anything. Remember what the judge told him at your injunction. You are not to enforce the law, Mr. Fultz. He is not a law officer. You got to remember the details, Randy. You can't spend all day pissing around, going here, going there, with bullshit errands. When you get to court, you've got to know this shit by heart. And without hesitation, he can look in there, maybe for drugs and alcohol. And you know we do it all the time, coke, meth, fentanyl, alcohol. Oh yeah, we got drunk parties all the time there. Now, even that inspection bullshit could very well be argued in court because it is private property. He can't come inspect somebody else's private property. It's common sense, and I believe that bullshit rule could be declared null and void. Now, how many times has that stupid son of a bitch been up there to inspect our hangar? 0. I don't know how long these stupid son of a bitches have allowed him to be airport manager, but he's never been there. And I can tell you right now, if I ever get back in that hangar and he wants to come in there and inspect something, he is not going to set foot in that fucking hangar. Folks, I hope you're still here, and if you are, I would love to buy you lunch, because this has been a son of a bitch for me.
Right. And he's quote unquote the manager there. I don't know how that works
He
out.
is a volunteer manager who does not have any legal rights. He got the right to go up down the runway from over the That's all it boils down to. I flew and all the big Salt Lake, New Orleans, Chicago O'Hare, all of it, Miami International. I can drive around inside the gate. There's a couple things I got to do, but this little grass strip, not
Are y'all as glad as I am for this son of a bitch to be over? I have never heard I floated Mexico, South America, Caribbean, Africa, Sudan, Angola, Chad, Mali, Southern Egypt. This is the biggest bunch of shit. If you were the owner of a business and you had an employee to remain on the job after he has strangled someone, if it was his fault or not, would you allow him to remain on the job? That is what I just cannot fathom, how people would put themselves in that much of a liability. And these fuckers, if they think the 3-year statute of limitations has run out, they are dead ass wrong. Because our lawyer said that because this is criminally related, it goes to 4 years. When I appear before commission meetings, I go in there with the full intent to say my mind. But it may not sound like it, but I'm a nice guy. And I can't bring myself to say what I really want to say. Now, I also might get thrown out, but still, that's all I got to say.